Using the power of the internet, you can now watch GLC on any TV in the US, Canada, the UK, and Ireland with Roku. Basically, a box that connects to your television. Roku acts as a middleman between your internet connection and your television. So if you have internet service at your home, chances are high that you can watch all of the great GLC programming. And best of all, it's highly affordable too, with only a one-time fee ranging from $50 to $100. Log on to our website, www.glc.us.com, for details on how you can watch GLC via Roku.
Praise God and welcome to Update.
The first in a week and a half.
Yeah. Glad to be back with you. But it was cold in New Hampshire with snow that deep the day we got there.
It was beautiful here.
No, not the day we got there. It was beautiful the day we got there. It was the next day it snowed.
When we woke up. Yeah. Okay, what's going on?
All kinds of things. Our new part-time gal is in the bookstore. Jerry, and she is wonderful. I got to work with her in there all day Monday, all day Tuesday, and I'm sure I'll be working in there more with her because it's not just overnight training.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm really happy to be working with her. And, of course, Becky's still volunteering, and Jill was back volunteering today. They're processing stuff. I don't know if they're answering the phone over there today because, before I get off that subject, I want to say it is absolutely delightful to be in the bookstore answering the phone and talking to people. We have the greatest viewers on the planet.
Yeah, we do.
They're so encouraging. You know what? All of you know that financially we have been really facing a difficult situation right now. And we are in the make it or break it month. This is December. Mm-hmm. In fact, was it Monday afternoon? I got the certified letter from SES telling me you owe us $110,000 now, and that has to be paid within, they said, 5 days. So I sent an email to them, and I said, I thought you told me we had till the end of December. And he wrote back, and he said, we do. That's just our reminder. It must be paid. Uh-huh. So some sweet person out there, I really need $100,000.
Yeah.
Quick to get that paid. But at any rate, it has been so great because people are so encouraging. I can't even begin to tell you, there's so many people out there who are telling me on the phone and in letters. They just can't even imagine GLC not being here, mm-hmm. and they don't see God taking it away. It's just too vital. Well,
that's after 32 years, you can understand that.
Yes. Well, here's something that happened. We told you last week that Monica was back and she was working in the office and all was well and good. We closed at noon on Wednesday, and on, I think it was Thursday morning, maybe even Wednesday evening, Monica's foot started hurting. She didn't come to work Monday. Yesterday, she was here for an hour, and then she went to the doctor. And it turns out that she has an infection. And so she's in a lot of pain, and she's scared. So be praying for Monica. Be praying for Monica.
Yes.
So I got to open all the mail today, and I think that the post office didn't deliver all the mail Monday and all the mail Tuesday because we got a huge stack today, mm-hmm. and it just doesn't work that way. Anyway.
When we picked up the mail, they were making a point of how much there was there.
Yeah. Well, going through the mail today was so wonderful. Mom was in her office, and I'm opening the mail and sorting through, and you have to sort into categories. And I finally said, Mom, can you come in here? I need you to read these letters.
They're wonderful.
There were so many letters that we really feel like we need to do an update and just share the letters with you.
Just share letters.
Because they're so encouraging, and everybody who's writing in would know that there are a bunch others out there who feel exactly mm-hmm. the same way. Mm-hmm. And we're getting really great response on our spot that we're running on. You need to let us know what cable system you're watching on, the channel number, We're getting really good response on that.
Yeah.
And what's so cute is that we really do have people telling us, count my vote twice. I've had several of those.
Because I've been a partner a long time.
I've been a partner a long time. I've been supporting you a long time.
Yep.
I think some of you probably feel we should count your vote 5 or 6 times, which is really true. And then I want to do a call out to Lynn, because we had read Lynn's letter here on Update News, and it was a great letter. He's the guy with the motorcycle, and he's a volunteer for us. So we're very familiar with him. And I happened to be in the bookstore last week, and he called. He didn't know it was me he was talking to, and he wanted to order something, and then he wanted to order a copy of an update program. And then he told me, because you read my letter. So we sent him a complimentary copy of the update program. So if we read your letter, you are allowed to request a complimentary copy of the Update News. I think that's only fair.
I think that's great.
I think it's great too, because we can't do what we do without you. You're such an integral part of what we do. You just have no idea. But it's been so exciting and so encouraging to me to be talking to people again, and to be reading the letters and being in touch. So thank you so much. It's just, it's wonderful. Before we started Update News, our sweet little Vanita handed me an article that appeared in the Midland Reporter Telegram on Sunday. Look who that is. That's Shiloh Harris. Apparently, he went to high school in Colorado City and talked to the students there about what he has been through in his life. And, you know, he always tries to put humor in everything, because I think he does that more for people who are talking to him than for himself.
To put them at ease.
Because people are so uncomfortable when they see the scars that have been left for his dedication to the country.
Especially when he forgets to put on his ears.
He does have his ears on. That's why he looks different in this picture. Anyway, we have his book called Steel Will in the GLC bookstore. You want to get a copy of this book. It's fabulous. It's his story, and he goes through the details of the IED explosion and his recovery and many things since then. I want to read you what he said in here, because he had to have the will to get up and do it each and every day once that happened. He wants this book to be a resource for veterans especially. When he and Cox, who helped him write the book, began writing, it was clear from the start that being Christian doesn't equate with weakness. I'm not Opie, and this ain't the Andy Griffith Show. I'm Shiloh Harris. I was raised hard. I served my country. I ate a lot of dirt, and I had a heck of a recovery, he said. I take the stand that you can be a badass and be a Christian all at the same time. That's Shiloh Harris. So call the GLC bookstore. If we're not in there answering the phone, you can always leave a message. We will call you back. Because outside of the bookstore storefront being open all day on Monday and Tuesday now, thanks to Jerry, Becky has been coming in the afternoons, and she's processing. She's pulling all messages off of the answering machine. She's calling people back, finding out what they want. And Jill's over there helping today, too. So she's probably making calls, too. I don't know. There's a lot that goes on in that bookstore. I can tell you that. And we've got a lot to do over there. But anyway, you want to get a copy of that book.
That's right.
And, yes, Dad asked just before we began this program if we're still getting pledges. Well, we are getting pledges. I'm getting pledges in the mail. I'm getting pledges when I answer the phone. Almost every time I answer the phone, even if they're placing an order. They'll do one times. I had a sweet guy named Tim at the end of the conversation set up a monthly credit card deduction or contribution of $20 a month. I was like, God bless you. So this is so exciting to me. Because you know what? It takes a village. It takes all of us to get this done.
Yes, it
We can
does.
do it, though. We can do it.
Amen.
If the GLC crew has shrunk from 54 to, what are we now? 8 today? You know what? I think we can do this thing. I keep thinking, every time payroll hits, every single week, I'm like, wow, Lord, we're saving $30,000 in payroll every single week. That should be paying for both satellites 3 times every month or 4 times every month.
But those doggone other bills that keep coming in.
That's right, because there are other bills. In fact, I didn't open the stack of bills that came today, just the checks, because they had to get into the bank. But anyway, you got a letter?
I got a letter.
You better. We had a lot of them today.
Yeah, I got 2 letters today. I guess I'm going to read 2, right? Dear Al, Tommy, Amy, and crew, thanks for GLC. Most of the day and evening, my TV is set on Comcast Channel 27 in dimming. I can no longer see the screen, but I hear the media. I enjoy everything from archaeology on through the alphabet. In the past, I have ordered DVDs and books. My Sunday school class enjoyed the God of the Mountain DVD.
That's Jim and Penny Caldwell.
That is, isn't it?
It was a great DVD.
Yes. I have not contributed as I would like to, but my heart and prayers are with you. May many more people be reached when you make the change, and I hope you still reach Deming. Thanks so much, Helen, Deming, New Mexico.
Wow, great letter.
It is a great letter.
We're glad you're at least listening to us.
Yes, we love you and
We do.
appreciate you.
We do.
A second letter. Dear Al, Tommy, and staff, we watch GLC through Baja Broadband cable system from Hobbs, New Mexico. Our channel number is 16. Count us twice, as we have been a loyal supporter for many years, and we don't want to lose you. Sincerely, Tony and Jeanette from Eunice, New Mexico.
They're also volunteers.
They are.
So I thought that was one of the cutest letters. It's like, you know what, Jeanette, we don't want you to lose us either.
Amen. Well, thank you all for the letters,
Much.
and I'm looking forward to the other letters you 2 are putting together to read.
We've got lots of them.
Lots
They're
of them.
All good.
Stacked.
Do I get that
Stacked.
day off?
No.
No,
No.
of course not.
You can read letters. Hello.
No.
Okay, I've got, for my devotional today, I'm using a quote from Charles Stanley's calendar. Can you believe that? If you haven't seen his calendar, he does the photography, and it is incredible. And today he said, we make our greatest impact in our Christian lives when we choose to wait on the Lord. This is our testimony of reality of God to the people around us. By watching our steadfast faith in Him, others learn He is truly trustworthy.
I love that.
Isn't that
Yep.
neat?
You know, so many
That's
people.
where actions speak louder than words.
So many people have asked about GLC continuing, how I'm looking at that, and, whatever. Well, I'm kind of working around the clock now. But you know what? I'm doing it because God hasn't told us to stop.
Right.
So
Right.
there's work to be done. Ask my crew if they think that God has told us to stop. They're still here, so obviously not.
That's right.
But we have to wait on the Lord, and waiting is not easy. Even if you're waiting on someone who's supposed to pick you up and they're late, 3 minutes late.
You start wondering, are they going to come?
Are they going to do it? Are they going to be here like they said they would be? Well, waiting on the Lord really isn't any different. It's just how committed you are. And I think sometimes that he lets us wait on him so that we can be tested too. Because you know what? We're no different than Job. And Job got tested. And there was a reason he got tested. We have an enemy who's an accuser, who stands before God, accusing the brethren constantly.
That's right.
Seeking permission and saying, well, if you do this, if you'll let me do this to them, they'll turn their back on
They'll
you.
curse you.
So testing is a good thing.
It is.
And even if the outcome is not always what we want, we have to remember God's still faithful and he always has a plan.
Amen.
We just like to know the answers sooner rather than later.
Well, what do you got in the way of news?
But it's not good. So the first article comes to us from Good Morning America. The FBI on Sunday issued the strongest warning to date about possible attacks by ISIS terrorist group against the U.S. military inside the U.S. homeland, officials told ABC News. Officials said they fear copycat attacks based on what happened in Canada last month when 2 uniformed Canadian soldiers were killed in 2 separate incidents by young men who claim they were ISIS followers. Such attacks, which apparently were carried out without direct contact between ISIS and the perpetrators, may embolden and motivate those who support ISIS, the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security warned.
In a joint intelligence bulletin, officials strongly urged those who serve in uniform to scrub their social media accounts of anything that might bring unwanted attention from violent extremists or would help the extremists learn individual service members' identities. Some in the U.S. Special Operations and other military branches have told ABC News they deactivated, scrubbed, or locked Facebook and other personal social media accounts months ago at the urging of security officers as the U.S. began bombing ISIS in Iraq and Syria last August.
But the government on Sunday night indicated they had obtained fresh intelligence that ISIS wants to recruit or inspire sympathizers inside America to hurt military members where they live. The day before the U.S. launched its biggest air blitz against the terrorist group in Iraq and Syria in late September, ISIS spokesman Abu Muhammad al-Adnani called upon Muslims in the U.S. and Europe to attack members of the military. Adnani said in an audio speech posted online on September 21st, "Do not ask for anyone's advice and do not seek anyone's verdict. Kill the disbeliever, whether he is civilian or military, for they have the same ruling. Both of them are disbelievers. Both of them are considered to be waging war."
And this article comes from Reuters and Russia Today. With a vote of 339 to 151, the French Parliament on Tuesday passed a non-binding resolution calling for the recognition of a Palestinian state. The symbolic move will not immediately affect France's diplomatic stance, but does demonstrate growing European impatience with a stalled peace process and sends yet another signal to Israel that they must return to the negotiating table with Palestinians. However, not everyone accepted Tuesday's motion as a gesture of peace and friendship, as it was described by its supporters. While most developing countries recognize Palestine as a state, most Western European countries do not, supporting the Israeli and U.S. position that an independent Palestinian state should emerge from direct negotiations.
Israeli officials have said that Europe's drive to legitimize Palestine is a validation of Hamas's rocket attacks on settlements inside Israel and removes incentives for Palestinians to make any further concessions during future talks. U.S.-mediated statehood talks collapsed last April after the Palestinians refused to abandon their commitment to the right of return, a condition that means potentially millions of Arabs from nearby regions would be entitled to Israeli citizenship.
So far, Sweden has been the only country to diplomatically accept the existence of Palestine, despite similar symbolic votes across Europe. In response to the latest European Parliament to come out in favor of recognizing Palestine, Israel said the decision will only move the possibility of reaching agreement further away. The spokesman for the Israeli Foreign Ministry stated, quote, "Resolutions like these only make the Palestinian positions more extreme and send the wrong message to the leaders and people of the region. A solution to the conflict will only be achieved through direct negotiations between the two sides and not through unilateral actions by one of the parties or by a third party."
Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius, who supported the vote in France, which sets a 2-year deadline for the creation of an independent Palestine, said that if no resolution had been found by then, France would officially recognize Palestine anyway. The French government has said it will not be bound by the result of that resolution. The text of the French resolution was proposed by the ruling socialist and backed by left-wing parties and some conservatives. A recent poll showed more than 60% of French people supported a Palestinian state, which is not surprising given that while France has both the largest Muslim and largest Jewish populations in Europe, the Muslim population in France far outnumbers the much smaller Jewish community. Right-wing lawmakers criticized the socialist majority for backing Palestine recognition to win back support from Muslim voters, who were dismayed by a gay marriage law passed last year and President Francois Hollande's apparent support for Israel's intervention in Gaza.
Christian Jacob, leader of the conservative UMP party, said the resolution, quote, "will add fuel to the fire in a region that doesn't need that at all." Former President Nicolas Sarkozy, who on Saturday won the leadership of his UMP party and is mounting a comeback bid, came out last week against the move. Lawmaker Maher Habib, who represents French citizens living in Israel, Turkey, Italy, Greece, the Vatican, San Marino, and Malta, slammed the resolution, saying, "Although this was expected, the results of today's vote are disappointing and saddening. It's sad to see today how France chose the wrong partner, and I'm concerned there will be ramifications in its ties with Israel, the only democracy in the Middle East."
Well, Palestinians applauded the move, with PLO Executive Committee member Hanan Ashrawi saying that statehood and self-determination are not dependent on the approval of the occupying power or on negotiations. I guess the occupying power is Israel.
Mm-hmm.
How can they be occupiers in their own land? It is he says this, "It is an inherent and legal right for the Palestinian people to exercise sovereignty on our own land." Ashrawi said that if members of the international community are serious about the creation of the independent Palestinian state on the 1967 borders with Jerusalem as its capital, they must undertake serious and concrete measures to end the occupation and to recognize the state of Palestine.
Meanwhile, in a related development, Jordan said on Tuesday it plans to begin talks with United Nations Security Council members on Palestinian and European proposals for a draft resolution setting a deadline for Israel-Palestinian negotiations. Last month, Jordan circulated a Palestinian drafted resolution to the 15-member council calling for Israeli occupation of Palestinian territory to end by November 2016. Some Western Council diplomats described the text as unbalanced. Jordan's UN ambassador, Dina Kawar, told reporters their goal is to have a unified text before Christmas. If not, it will be in January. The Palestinian draft is unlikely to gain the support of the U.S., which has a veto on the council. It is not clear whether Washington will be prepared to engage in formal negotiations on the Palestinian or European text, or if the United States will produce its own proposal.
The current wave of parliamentary moves began in October after the Swedish government became the most significant country in Western Europe to recognize a Palestinian state. In Britain, a similar resolution passed by a 274 to 12 vote. In Spain, by a vote of 319 to 2, with one abstention. And in the 60-person upper house of the Irish Parliament, the motion passed without a vote. France, Britain, and Germany are also drafting a resolution that French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius said would propose concluding peace talks in the next 2 years. Other parameters for ending the conflict also would be set, diplomats said. The spokesman for the foreign ministry said on Tuesday there was no hurry to adopt a resolution. And this next article we definitely have to get to because it is just incredibly interesting. It comes from the Huffington Post. In a related article to what we just read, which was posted by the Huffington Post last week, a few key points were made as to why recognition of a Palestinian state, at least at this time, is a really bad idea. Interestingly and ironically, the article was written by a man who for nearly half a century has favored a two-state solution. We'd like to share his article, which gives 3 strong reasons as to why he believes the unilateral recognition of Palestine is a bad idea. And here they are.
Number 1, Hamas, its charter and its agenda. The fact that for the time being at least, Hamas administers one of the 2 territories that make up the state that supposedly must be recognized immediately and with great fanfare. The fact that Hamas's doctrine is that Israel must be destroyed. One does not recognize, even symbolically, a state in which half of the government denies another state's right to exist. One does not recognize, especially not symbolically, a government in which half of the ministers dream of annihilating that state.
One extends a hand to its people, of course. One provides help. One supports and reinforces the other party, that of Mahmoud Abbas, and encourages it to break the unnatural alliance into which it has entered. But as long as that alliance remains intact, as long as Hamas remains Hamas, as long as a part of the state that one is preparing to recognize recognizes itself in a charter that orders all Muslims to come out from, quote, behind rocks and trees where they are hiding to kill Jews. That's Article 7 of Hamas's charter. As long as Hamas professes, Article 13, that the supposed initiatives and peaceful solutions, such as the current proposal in France, that would settle the Palestinian question are contrary to the faith, one must defer recognition.
And another one, the timing, the worldwide rise of jihadism, and the fact that the Palestinian political class and, alas, its civil society, not just Hamas, seem once again to be unclear on the question. Although the author made the statement, we'd like to point out that actions by Hamas and Palestinian civilians do indeed prove alliance and approval of jihadist actions. The author himself next mentions the most brutal and vicious of recent actions, so it would seem that once again the Western mind is intent on denying the connections between actions and beliefs. Logically, you cannot deny the connection, which is why we have prisons for those who rape, steal, and murder.
The author continues, I'm not referring to Mahmoud Abbas, who condemned the November 18th attack on a synagogue in West Jerusalem that left 5 people dead. But I am referring to his allies in the PFLP who took credit for it. I am referring to the Islamic Jihad and again Hamas, which praised it. And I'm thinking of those thousands of young people who, as soon as the news became known, came out into the streets to light fireworks and celebrate. One day, perhaps a majority of Israelis may come to believe that the least bad form of protection against this situation is a clean break. But that will be their decision, not the decision of a Spanish, English, Swedish, or French parliament. Aye.
The world has gone mad.
We love you. We'll see you on Friday.
We do love you. God bless you.